I choose the discomfort of forging my new way forward compared to the comfort of staying in the situation that did not work for me. I pulled the Five of Pentacles for someone the other day, and I want to share with you some positive or neutral interpretations for this card. When people see the Rider-Waite-Smith Five of Pentacles, we tend to think, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm gonna lose everything. Oh, something bad is gonna happen. How do I even interpret this as advice or as a future outcome or any position in a reading? We think of this as a scary or a negative kind of card. Well, I want to share with you some positive or neutral ways to see the card. This Five of Pentacles does not have to be any scarier, or any more negative than any of the other 77 cards of the deck. I'll share my take on this card as a skeptical, secular, atheist tarot reader, compare with other Five of Pentacles cards from other decks, and wrap it up with more ideas, suggestions for interpretations, or questions to ask yourself to help you develop your own meaning. So first, what does a skeptical or secular approach mean? For me, it means I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt. I am atheist. I am skeptical. I just have not had experiences that have led me to believe in anything spiritual. It's important to understand everyone's beliefs and contexts because that tells you how they interpret the cards and why they put it out there. Where do these meanings come from? Who created them? Why did they create them? Understanding that tarot originated from playing cards and then people kind of add meaning or infuse different ideas into them over time, you and I have the freedom to take these meanings and ideas and branch off of them and create our own meaning. The most important thing from a divination system that you use is not that you learn like how everyone should objectively do it. It's more how to do it and use it in a way that works for you. I don't read the cards as if they were actual predictions. I could read them as possible outcomes, but I just don't have any stock in if they're going to come true or not. Bad things, good things are going to happen whether or not we think about it. I don't need a deck of cards to have bad things or good things happen to me. So let's break down the imagery here. We have two people who are walking out in the snow in front of a stained glass window. I also have little experience with Christianity or any God or Jesus worshiping. So this kind of stained glass imagery that kind of symbolizes a church, that doesn't mean anything to me. A common interpretation is these people need help. Maybe they are choosing not to get help. They are choosing to be helpless in a way because they're not going into this church, this presumed church in the background that supposedly has resources for them. Maybe they're being stubborn. Maybe they don't see it, but they should look up and see it. That's one way to look at it, but let's go further. Let's make some more meaning from this. So let's compare with the 4 and the 6 of the same suit. I like to look at the cards before and after to get some sense of progression. If you read Marseille or Pip decks where the pips are not scenically illustrated like this, you can have more freedom in how you interpret this. For me, even with these scenes, I can still see a lot of different interpretations, positive, negative, and neutral. The energy of the 4 is like stability, security, possibly clutching, and the 6 is like expansive and sharing and open. But in the middle of that, we do have to have some sort of transition period or uncertainty. And so that's why I see 5 of Pentacles or any 5 as just neutral. I know that a lot of us, myself included, do struggle with uncertainty. Like, why don't things feel stable and secure and known all the time? That's just a fact of life. Developing or creating new ways of living, new lifestyles, it does involve some period of uncertainty. It's not going to be a guaranteed stability. And even if it is, that stability just doesn't happen like right away. We don't go from 4 to 6 immediately. There is just that transitional period in the middle. It's just a part of the experience. Now for the number of people, the 4 of Pentacles has 1 person, 5 has 2 people, the 6 has 3 people. We are growing in terms of our connections with others too, even widening our vision to see others around us. We also go from sitting down in the 4 to standing up, hunched over in the 5, and then standing up tall in the 6. So posture, people, the scenery, the backgrounds, this all adds to this transitional energy of the 5. Let's look at the other 5s. 5 of Pentacles, Wands, Cups, and Swords. Again, the 5s can just represent a shakeup, literally just changing it up from the familiarity that we got used to in the 4 before realigning in the 6. This shakeup, this change could be for the worse, or it could be for the better. Or it can just be a change without any value judgment of if it'll be good or not. Sometimes change is just change. 5 of Pentacles is changing of earth, a change in your routines, habits, the things you're familiar with. And since it's a minor card, not a major like the Tower or Death, this could be as simple as like changing your hair from the way you're used to wearing it for the day, or turning off your phone for a few hours because you know all the screen time is taking up energy and attention that you need for other things. 5 of Wands is changing of energy, different ideas and passions and energies, kind of like a bunch of kids not agreeing on how they want to play this game. Or all of these people are parts of you, feeling torn between different passions and desires. Five of Cups is changing of feelings, holding multiple conflicting feelings at the same time, kind of like wanting to move on from your relationship while still treasuring the good times you had. Five of Swords, changing of thoughts, reasoning, truth. And again, does not have to be a bad thing. I hear people say this is like winning the battle but losing the war, as if the advice is always that you shouldn't disagree ever. But what if disagreement is okay and not inherently a bad thing? Maybe the new truth that you realize is that there are people who will make efforts to understand you even when you disagree. And maybe there are people that you do want to make mad, like people who hate immigrants or trans people or poor people, or people who leave troll comments but don't want to engage any deeper. Those people are worth disagreeing with, right? Maybe I'll make another video about this card because goddamn. I think our discomfort with this fives, with this uncertainty, is because we want things to feel like they're closed. We want to feel like we're able to resolve things, to help other people and solve their problems. But sometimes what might actually help someone is not to find a solution for them or to guide them to a solution. Sometimes it's just being there with them as they're going through these problems. When I was a wee babby in like kindergarten or first grade, we were flying kites out in the field. I could not get my kite to fly. I was so bummed and upset, I sat down and just started crying. My teacher took my kite and she was able to make it fly. And I remember hearing her say, "Look, Sarah, it's flying, look." I don't think I looked. I don't remember what that kite flying looked like because I was just so upset and sulking. And my therapist said, yes, we solved the problem of the kite flying, but we didn't really see or solve the problem of me having these big emotions. Because now the problem isn't about my kite flying. It's about me in my wee babby body with my wee babby brain not knowing how to handle these big emotions that are coming up. I'm so upset. I'm frustrated. I feel dumb. I feel like I'm incapable. I'm confused. The guidance or help or support I would have wanted was for someone to sit there and help walk me through these confusing feelings. Some things are not easy fixes, and sometimes the problem that we think needs fixing or attention is not the problem that the other person is actually going through, or not actually the problem that needs to be solved. Now let's talk about cards from other decks. For the Mystical Cats Tarot, we have a cat sitting outside in the snow, looking into a window where two cats are snuggling next to a campfire, next to a fire inside fireplace, and some food. It looks really warm and cozy inside compared to cold and snowy outside. Now, one might presume that, well, the cat should just go inside. We need help, we need shelter, we should just go inside. Why is the cat not going inside? Why are the people inside not letting the cat inside? A different way of looking at this could be, what if this was family or people that we actually don't want to spend time around? Sometimes we choose to estrange ourselves from family or friends or anybody else for reasons that other people might not understand. They think, well, why don't you just talk to your mom? You should call your mom. You should. She's your mom. It's my life, though. I can just kind of do what I want. Whether I talk to my mom in the future is irrelevant. For the time being, I'm choosing this kind of path that works with my life and what I can handle right now. Another example is when people need help with, let's say, finding a job or getting accommodations. People who aren't in that situation think it's just so easy, like just apply to more jobs, go in person and hand them your resume. Or they think that there are so many resources that are reliable and easy to get for people who do need those resources, but they're not easy to get. I hear stories of disabled people. They cannot have more than a certain amount of income per month because then they will be cut off from the accommodations that they still need to live. Like, just because you're making more income does not mean you're gradually not disabled anymore. Just applying to jobs or like tweaking your resume or what have you is not going to fix the like systemic issues that prevent us from getting jobs. You know, like the government situation, things around us. There's so many things that are out of our control that prevent us from getting the jobs that we want. A lot of resources for getting help, accommodations, trainings, they're just not as easy or reliable as people who haven't experienced them think that they are. So just go inside here might not be as easy or simple as you think it is. And one might think these are like overly pessimistic takes on these cards. I think they're more neutral and they balance out the possibly optimistic way to look at the card, which is like, oh, it's just so easy. You just need to do this. You just blah, 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 blah. Speaking of disability and accommodations, in the Child Tarot, we have a person who is on crutches with a cast on one leg, looking with a sad expression at three other kids who are jump roping. There is nuance to this card, and I don't think a solution would be, well, you have to find an activity that does include this person with the cast on their leg, or the people jump roping should not be happy, should not be smiling because someone else out here is in pain. I don't think those are always helpful interpretations for every time this card comes up. Maybe this person with the crutches needs to find other activities that they can do with being disabled, for example, whether it's physically or mentally, like your brain works different. We have to stop trying to expect ourselves to do things the way that everybody else is doing. For example, I learned last year that I have ADHD. So I've gone 30 years without realizing my brain works totally different from how I expected it to and from how other people think it should work. ADHD is not a disease, it's just a neutral part of who I am. So I don't need people to feel sorry for me or look for a fix or a cure or a solution. I need to meet myself where I am, to shift my lifestyle and make new habits that actually work for me and my current abilities, even if it's different from what I could handle before or what other people can handle. If I were this disabled kid with one leg feeling left out of jump roping, I wouldn't want to be told, just wait, it'll get better, then you'll be back to jump roping. Because what if there's a chance that it never gets better? How long will I be waiting? What if I didn't even like jump roping anyway, actually, or playing with these other kids? And now this shakeup has given me an opportunity and look for something new that I might like better. And in a broader sense, outside of disability, this could also mean a temporary period of things just being different. And so the things that we used to do, or the things that we would like to do, such as jump roping, we just can't do right now because all of our energy, our brain, our body right now is focused on healing our leg. So in that sense, neutrally, the Five of Pentacles could be describing a temporary, perhaps, period of uncertainty. Not good, not bad, it just is. Next, the Gentle Tarot Five of Pentacles depicts a person in the corner looking underwater at a turtle. It feels similar to the Child Tarot, where the kids who are jump roping are not noticing the person in the corner on their crutches and with the cast. Here, in our everyday lives, we might not always notice or remember that turtles and other creatures underwater are living very, very different lives from us. So we take a moment to look closer at them, not just in a surface level way, but looking closer, seeing the transparent or translucent plastic bags that are hidden in the background here, noticing that things might not be as rosy as they seem. This one mainly depicts an imbalance of resources and stability. We might feel really stable being on land where we are, but these turtles are going through their instability. This is a great example of not presuming the victim or the supposedly helpless person or creature is able to do anything about their circumstance. Because in this instance, the people, we are the ones who have created the trash. This turtle cannot change its environment. It can only make the best of what it has right now. So maybe just swimming to a different environment. But what if that environment also has plastic bags? We think someone can just go to church. But what if that church causes more problems and issues than it solves? Also, I just learned from Liz Dean's book, The Big Book of Tarot Symbols, that this bell hanging around someone's neck in the original Rider-Waite-Smith Five of Pentacles is a leper bell. Historically, people with leprosy had to wear bells or other types of signifiers because there was social stigma against people with leprosy. People with leprosy were not allowed into many public places, such as churches or other congregations. So that adds some different meaning to this Five of Pentacles. Like, someone in this card needs help, but the resources or the shelter depicted in this card are not open to giving help to this particular person, even if they might have those resources to share. It also makes me think of equity versus equality. With equality, we think that we need to pay everyone the same, give everyone the exact same thing, treat everyone exactly the same. But with equity, we are acknowledging that everyone's needs are different. We treat them the way that they would like to be treated. We give them what they would like to have. That might mean for someone else to be more comfortable, we might have to sacrifice a little bit of our comfort. And that is what I see more of in the Six of Pentacles. It's more like balancing things out. We have to give a little bit as well, or give a lot sometimes, not just a little bit. Like, yes, it might be inconvenient to try to buy less things, to try to create less waste, but it's probably more inconvenient right now for people and creatures living around the world who are dealing with the trash that the US creates. We literally have so much consumerism and trash creation over here, and we offload it to so many other countries where like my people come from. I understand that we are only doing what we can as individuals. There are issues much bigger than us that we cannot control, but still, I want to remind us that other people outside of us do exist. Disabled people in other countries exist. It's not really fair for them to be living with the trash that we create. And someone might think it's frustrating that I seem to be only pointing out problems instead of offering solutions, but that's my whole point with this kind of video. If you're not specifically asking for advice, you don't have to read this card or any card that you draw as advice. It can just be an acknowledgement or a check-in of the situation, what is actually happening right now. And then it's up to you what to do with this information. Next is an outdoors kind of trio. Tarot for the Great Outdoors, Somnia Tarot, and the Gaian Tarot. I love that Tarot for the Great Outdoors leans more into numerology instead of the traditional typical Rider-Waite-Smith meanings. No churches or religious imagery here. We've got a family out camping while it's raining, parent or guardian figure sitting in a chair underneath this big tarp, a kid sitting in a tent reading, and another kid jumping around outside in these muddy puddles in the rain. I am not someone who chooses to go camping. I do not camp regularly or like at all, but I can understand people who do this. They like to be challenged. They like to make the most of the weather, the turmoil while it lasts. This kid who is playing out in the mud, they're really experiencing this difference in weather. This parent or guardian is also out here underneath the rain instead of sitting inside the tent, engaging with this weather change in their own way. They have their tarp, and the other kid is inside the tent reading a book, probably waiting out the rain. In the Somnia Tarot, someone is laying in this wooden barrel out in the middle of a wheat field under an overcast sky. And in the Gaian Tarot, someone has created shelter from anything they can find, so twigs, branches, leaves. These especially show the idea that help is not always just around the corner, or you just need to look harder. Sometimes you really are just making the best of what you got for now. Now, with the camping or outdoorsy vibe, this can represent challenges that we willingly go through, even if they don't make sense to other people. I do not find joy or fulfillment in camping, but I know many people do. Many people love being outside of their comfort zones for a little bit or for a long time. Road tripping, hiking, camping in the desert, camping at the beach, camping in the mountains, hiking up the mountains. Yes, there are people going through these challenges who did not choose it, and also there are people who choose to go through these challenges. Yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable and perhaps nonsensical to stay out in the snow compared to going back inside where it's warm and comfortable and familiar. Something we can remind ourselves is that I choose the discomfort of forging my new way forward compared to the comfort of staying in the situation that did not work for me. Other kinds of challenges could include reprioritizing your budget, so no buy or low buy or no spend challenges, no phone challenges, no social media challenges. So challenges that we go through, whether because we want to or we need to, or again, because they are just forced upon us. I went through a big friend shakeup this year, where one of my close friendships changed very suddenly, very dramatically, very unexpectedly. That left me very uncertain about all of my other friendships. It felt like a long period of continuing to process this shakeup with my therapist, understanding what can I enjoy and appreciate from the times that we had, and what can I leave behind that I don't want to carry forward in my future relationships. Wading through that uncertainty, just like wading through a swimming pool, you start from the shallow end, then you gradually go to the deeper end. I started trying different things in my other relationships and friendships. I used to be very fake and very anxious and very people-pleasing, and now I am more comfortable being more direct, asking for questions or information if I need it, asking for more accommodations, giving myself more slack and not forcing myself to socialize as much, as often, as intensely. All of these gradual steps and adjustments have led me to now where I feel a new sense of stability that is different from the sense of stability I had before with that close friendship. So it does take work and it takes time. It's just part of the experience. Lastly, the next World Tarot, Five of Pentacles, depicts a child sitting in their home or apartment. We have a for sale sign on the building across the street. The guidebook explains the story of this card. A child who is forced out of their home because it's been sold or it's being gentrified, and now they're in a period of transition moving to another place. The moving boxes being all packed up here show the idea of a temporary time. It takes time to pack our things, unpack our things, transition from our previous place to our new place. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally as well. So maybe the most important thing isn't that I find a solution for this person or this family here. Maybe the solution or the help or support is just to help this person find community and be present with this family as they go through this shift. So some last ideas for interpretations, messages, questions. Maybe this is someone who is going through their own stuff. Doesn't have to be a good or a bad thing. Can just be neutral. Someone going through uncertainty and transition, you can still be in community with them. You can still invite them over, even if they're feeling down, even if they're tired, or whatever. It's just about being present together with them. Being present versus looking for a solution. Maybe you don't need to find a solution for this person's problems, or for your problem, or for your uncertainty right now. Maybe you just need to be present. Another idea, maybe you're idealizing this help or whatever this represents. Maybe you think that once you get this thing, or once you reach this thing, or once this thing opens up to you, then all of your problems will be solved. It is the perfect solution. It is the missing piece that you actually need. Yes, in some cases, this might actually apply. I know people say money doesn't solve all problems, but a good amount of money does solve a lot of our everyday problems. But other ideas could be your family apologizing to you isn't going to be the immediate perfect solution for the reasons why you chose to estrange yourself in the first place. There's going to be a lot of repair work and rebuilding a new foundation moving forward, even if they apologize and see the errors of their ways, or even if you apologize or try to find a different way of working this relationship. The key word here is work, which I really associate with the pentacles, the earth, the coin suit here. And again, not necessarily a bad thing, could just be neutral. Like maybe this resource isn't perfect or all-encompassing, but maybe it's a good enough start for now. Maybe it can help with one thing. Then you can find other better resources down the line. And if I pulled this card for like an outcome in a predictive reading, I would say there is going to be uncertainty. That is normal and a part of the experience. Uncertainty, instability does not have to be a bad thing. It does not have to be permanent. It is just a part of life, a part of the experience, just like any of the rest of these 78 cards are. So those are my takes from a skeptical, secular, atheist, science-seeking, tarot hobbyist. I'd love to hear your take on the Five of Pentacles, whether from the Rider-Waite-Smith or from other tarot decks in your collection, takes you agree with or disagree with. If there are other tarot cards that perplex you, I'm curious to hear what they are. Maybe I'll be inspired to do another video like this, sharing more counter opinions and ideas and interpretations. And if you want to connect with other skeptical, atheist, agnostic, science-seeking witches, you can join the Sass Witches community on Reddit or on Discord. I love the community a lot. I've learned so much about psychology and different ways to hack your brain, hack your life, to enjoy these things, even if we don't quite believe. Links for those will be in the description. And with that, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.